DashBored. Welcome, fellas.
Good
How
evening.
you doing?
Good.
Good to hear.
Back once again. Are we at 10 yet?
I don't
No,
know
we're
that.
getting
That's a
close.
good question. This might be 9?
Number 9.
Is it?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, you're
Yep.
counting.
Yep.
Okay.
Number 9.
Okay. Well, I mean, we made it this far.
9 weeks is longer than most people's New Year's resolutions lasted. So
Easy. That's true. Yeah.
Some marriages don't last that long.
Yeah, okay. Wow, that really got dark. Yeah. Really fast.
anything you want to tell us, Mike?
No,
yeah.
no.
Yeah. No.
Skip over that part.
We're jumping fast. We want to hit on Mike's Cayenne. We want to know your update on gas mileage. You said you have information.
Quick update with the new roof rack.
Yes.
We were averaging 17.8 liters per 100.
Right.
Whatever that works out to in miles per gallon.
That's before
Sure.
the rack.
Probably sub 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sub 20.
Okay. Yeah.
Barely, though.
Yeah.
New update. Close. 18.4 liters per 100.
Oh, okay.
So
it's not that bad.
Not as bad as I thought, but I'd like to see it lower. Not going to happen, I don't think.
Depends how you drive it.
Until the summer. When it warms up, it might be a bit better.
True. So we'll see.
I just want to throw this
I
in
have
there.
no idea when plugs have been done on this thing. Or
Oh,
anything like
okay.
that, so.
Okay. Yeah. I want to throw out that Mike drove us somewhere on the weekend, and he's got a regular heavy foot and likes
Nice.
to slide the back end around.
Now
And
we
I'm
know.
like, well, this isn't exactly helping the fuel consumption. You were, and you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you have
yeah.
a V8 Porsche,
Well,
sure.
you got to drive it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
It's got a nice rumble.
It sure does.
Cayenne adjacent. And I just, my Cayenne sort of obsession / hunt is still continuing alongside the one for the Panamera, by the way. But
Right.
there were two quick things I shared with this group last night or 2 nights ago, Saturday night, I think. A sand yellow, which we talked about last week, 958 Cayenne. It was a turbo.
Oh, so good.
It had brown interior, which is truffle, I believe.
I have no
Full
idea,
leather.
but I can imagine it smells like cigars and leather.
18 ways, Burmester, probably a million problems lurking. But oh boy, did this thing send the right vibes to me.
Sounds great to me.
So much so that I emailed the gentleman who called me yesterday and I ignored the call because it was Sunday.
Oh, he called you?
Yeah,
Oh, I
on a-
missed that
on a
little
Sunday.
detail. Oh, that's
Yeah, I didn't
interesting.
hear that detail.
So I said, well,
boy.
I'll call you back tomorrow.
You don't do business on Sundays.
Especially for
No.
things we don't need.
Well, no, yeah.
Yeah.
So the update, I guess, is that the car sold this morning to somebody.
Wow.
So as you might expect, very popular color, and it didn't last, but probably best for my marriage and also my bank account. So passing that one. But if anybody else is looking, there's a very clean looking .2 white Cayenne diesel at Porsche of London.
Yeah, you said that.
Yeah.
Was there a photo?
You
of it? How
text
did-
me
How did
and-
you discover this thing so fast? I mean,
Auto
He
Trader.
lives right next door.
No, so this morning,
yeah, but that's true. Yeah.
our family car, Amy's car, was in for service at Delmar. So naturally, as one does, you take a quick pop over to Porsche when you're there.
Naturally.
And yeah, I noticed it in the back, and then it came up on Trader this afternoon. So
Okay.
Quick question. While you were at Delmar, did you see the ID Buzz?
oh, I sure did.
Is that where that photo came
Oh,
from?
yeah, that-
Yeah.
Oh, they had
right.
a camper version.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think the listeners are going to start to get the impression that one of us, like at some point, they're fully expecting one of us is going to buy this thing, right?
Yeah.
Like I think at some point, you
Look,
It won't be me.
so
say that now.
they have a second one, which I believe Volkswagen Canada heard Ryan's comments and directed somebody to put a surfboard on the roof, which has happened. So there is
Like?
one in the showroom with a surfboard and like an awning, I guess I would call it.
Does Volkswagen sell that? Like the awning? I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay.
It looked a little janky, but
Oh, I thought it looked pretty awesome.
the awning?
No, just the whole thing.
Just
All
the
the
whole
package.
package.
yeah,
that
the
on
whole
the
deal's
beach.
cool.
I felt
Yeah,
cool.
awesome, right?
Yeah, I felt cool.
I thought
looking
the
at
white
it.
rims on it actually did look pretty good.
I appreciate the whole, and it was pomelo yellow or something,
something
like
like that.
Yeah. It looks like acid green, sort of. I love the
Yeah.
I love the color.
Yeah.
The bottom line is it was a $90,000 plus tax MSRP, which is even more than
I thought that was including tax.
no
Still tax on top.
No.
Wow.
Oh yeah, there's
But
tax on
our
top.
smart friend did make a fair point today that he said, hey, a lot of these cars are getting more and more expensive, and is that really that unreasonable?
yes.
This is the problem.
It's a hard pill to swallow, but
Yeah.
he is right. I mean, all new cars now are very expensive. But
Yeah. The more we talk about this, the more we're edging towards someone buying it.
Hey, if Volkswagen would like to loan us one for 2 months to, give it a real world.
Yes.
Ryan mentioned some moms last week. I mean, I can do we can get Amy to do the mom side. We'll do the car enthusiast side.
But somewhere you're going to have to do a get ready with me. So you're going to have to pick out a nice outfit, Sean.
Well, he does a good job of that anyway. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fit isn't quite color matched today.
No,
but
we got all
it's
kinds of
still looking
problems.
good.
But yeah,
Green. I would like if they would sell me an ID Buzz in mint green. I'll be honest.
I think they could do that.
But I don't think they will. They'll be like, sorry, it's these 5 colors only.
Yeah.
But I think that yellowish one you're pointing, it looks awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Better than the blue.
I digress. Sorry.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, it was a totally different color. It's metallic. It looks sweet. The only one I ever saw on the road was in Mannheim in Germany, and it was that color.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
And it was awesome.
Interestingly enough, I mean, there's more than enough room in this thing. You don't need any more, but I assumed that there'd be like a frunk.
Yep.
I don't think there is.
Well, it would almost be like vertical. No?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. There's like literally 15 inches between the front windshield and like the front bumper. So I don't think there's anything in there.
Oh, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
All right, I got to cut this off. We're deep into Buzz.
sorry.
I don't know what's happening. I'm sorry. The listener can't see, but I'm shaking my hands all over the place. Anyway, you had a question about Cayenne. Are we wrapped up on that?
No, I think we're good on Cayenne.
Okay, let's give a quick update on Kaleidoscope because we had a positive response to last week's episode. Lots of people asked questions. Was really happy to get a bunch of DMs from people that really appreciated hearing the background on the event. So that was nice. So thank you, everybody. As a follow-up, we launched our ticket sales on last week. I don't remember the date exactly, but we had a really wonderful out of the gate day. Like we sold lots of tickets, raised a whole bunch of money instantly. Thanks for that. Really appreciate everybody's support. Just as a reminder, we're selling tickets. You can register a car for $100. You can buy a ticket to this event for $30. And all this money is going to go to an animal-based charity in the Hamilton area. The event is Sunday, June 8th, just as another flash. But we'll continue to post on Instagram and share that and talk about it all the time as best we can. Just a quick update.
Young kids free. Bring the family.
Yeah, anybody under 12 is free.
Sure.
We don't care. Yeah, no big deal. Anyway, that's just a quick update. Any other fast stuff?
Admin done.
Yeah,
Admin is done. Okay, check. Okay. And the next subject we're jumping to is... Dylan's going to talk about it.
Oh, we're talking about our history?
Yeah, we're ready. Yeah,
Oh,
but
okay.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh.
This was your recommendation, wasn't it? Oh, maybe I mistook
my
that.
recommendation was the 60 or 50.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Ryan's had a long day.
Are we
Yeah.
doing
That's
60
okay.
or the 150 first, or which one do you want to do first?
We'll get into the car history.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'll start off my car history. That's
Okay, hold
fine.
on. A few people requested to know
Indeed.
our car histories.
And now we're going to let them all down.
Correct.
completely.
But I also feel at this point, we're not going to like drag through super detail, just more of like, hey, what was your direction through your
Yeah.
car history? What did you have? Where did you go? Any left turns, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
Okay. You want to talk first?
Sure, no problem.
Okay.
Yep. I bought my first vehicle I actually bought it when I was 15. 2001 Ford Ranger.
Ooh.
Yeah.
4-liter.
Yep.
Yes.
Are they all
Yeah.
4 liter? Oh, no, there was a
No.
4-cylinder.
There was a
Yeah.
3-liter, 4-liter.
Oh.
Sounded good, but went nowhere. All that displacement for very little
Yeah,
go,
not
if I
much.
remember.
Not much, but quick mods, body lift, 3-inch body lift, 33 tires, ripped the bumpers off front and back, welded my own bumpers up, pre-runner out front.
What color was this car?
Black.
Black.
It was
Nice.
I want to say it was like 3 years old at the time. It had 210,000 K on it already.
Wow.
Holy cow.
Yeah, it was just a highway runner. And then took out the back seats, put a big sub in it. You know, all things you
Whoa.
do when you're 15 years old, no
I'm
license.
getting a real vision in my head. Right.
Yeah, cut the muffler off. The cherry bomb, bolt on wasn't loud enough, so got rid of that again. Yeah, it was quite the time of my life. We'll put it that way.
Chicks galore.
Oh, yeah, that's why.
Okay, so that carried you all the way through high school? Did you carry it all the way through?
Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
Next one was a F-150
Okay.
Triton motor. A lot of misfires. Got rid of that pretty quick. Got another F-150 from a detailer in Toronto, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, it was my first ceramic coating experience.
wow,
And
that's a long
it was-
time ago.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
Yeah,
pretty
you were
sweet,
cutting
actually.
edge back then.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it was
Okay.
Opticoat. I think was the name of it.
I don't know.
It was really good, actually.
Okay.
It was the first one that I believed in.
Yeah.
Right.
Quick hose, boom, good to go. After that, a bunch of more F-150s,
Wow.
2500s, F-250s.
Can I just interrupt? I think we're sensing a theme.
I
Yeah.
think there's
Okay.
a theme here.
Continues
Yeah.
to
He
be
likes
a
trucks.
Keep going. Keep
Yeah.
going.
Oh no, there's like I can't wait till I don't have to drive a truck. I've had so many.
Right.
Yeah, I mean the only other vehicles are like pretty much what my wife drives, like the Atlas, and then a Taos, and then 911.
Wow. That honestly, that's a fairly. You have a thing. You have a path.
As
Yeah.
as bookends go, Ranger and 911 is quite the spread.
A little bit,
Yeah.
yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, you know what? I had a blast with that Ford Ranger. Oh,
I
just
bet.
perfect time in your life, right? Like,
Yeah.
no, you're 15. You don't even know the license. You got-
5-speed?
No.
Oh,
Auto.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
right.
So can I just quickly ask? I mean, does the heart still pound for the Ranger, and you would buy one today? Like, are you in that weird space?
No,
Like, would you buy one?
I would never buy one again.
No, you wouldn't do it?
No,
Okay,
No,
okay.
you kind of, never meet your heroes, right?
I thought you were literally inside and around your hero for 4 or 5 years. Right. Okay.
So, yeah, that's my car history.
Wow, that's actually simpler than I had anticipated.
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up around a lot.
Yeah.
Luckily, my dad, was a Corvette guy a lot. Had
Oh, okay.
75, 64, another AMC Rambler. I don't know if you guys know what that is.
Ooh, what year was the Rambler?
65.
Pretty sweet.
She was, let's call it the mafia boss.
What
style.
color?
It was white. He had it sprayed black, and then huge chrome rims on it.
It's kind of like the poor man's. No offense, but it's kind of like the poor man's Cadillac. What's that one from Entourage?
Oh, that's
a
that was a
Lincoln.
Lincoln.
Yeah, I know that, but it's like the Rambler. I always imagine sort of like a huge 4-door car.
Yeah. No suicide doors. But
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, because the reason I say this, and I mean no disrespect, but 2 of my friends had them, and that's how we treated them. We rolled
yeah.
around in those things like they were awesome.
Oh, at the time when he owned it, I thought this was the dumbest vehicle ever. I probably still do.
Now you'd like to have it back.
No,
Yeah.
not really.
Yeah, but they're not that expensive.
No, they're not. They're not. So, yeah, that's my quick, brief.
Wow.
car
So he's met
history.
the hero. He passed on. Mike,
Me?
Hit us.
Geez, long time ago now.
that's okay.
My history's growing up with a lot of muscle cars around the house. So my dad was always buying and selling, fixing up Chevs mostly. So naturally, when I was 15, 16, I picked up an 81 Grand Prix with the motor out of it that I quickly rebuilt and threw a 350 Chev in.
What? What
Yeah.
would the normal motor have been?
It was a 3.8 V6 or something
Wow.
like that.
Oh, that's
so-
a big change.
Yeah,
okay.
that is a big change.
Yeah, yeah.
And I still remember, thanks Don, that when I went to pick it up, it was $100 for this car. And he said, I want to take the stereo out. So give me $75 and drive it away. So drove it away, threw a quick paint job on it, and threw this V8 350 in and drove it for a couple years maybe, till I traded it on a 87 S10 5-speed.
Nice. Yeah.
And it was a little 4-cylinder,
Yep.
and I like Dylan's Ranger. I love that thing.
What color?
Red.
Red?
Had like a straight package on it.
All right.
I put like Olds Cutlass wheels on it. At
Ah.
the time, it was kind of a little hot rod, short box.
Okay.
Love this thing. Drove it everywhere.
Am I imagining it's a single cab or is it
Single
1.5?
cab.
Yeah.
Okay,
Single
okay,
cab.
okay.
Back in those days. So
Yeah, that was. I mean, yeah, it was club cabs or whatever extended cabs.
Yeah, that was-
few and far
wasn't a
between.
thing
No,
back
Oh, I
then.
thought they made the little extender,
they
like the
did,
short
but
thing.
maybe not till later.
Ah,
89,
okay.
90
yeah,
maybe.
I think so.
Did you lower this thing too? Like,
No,
was it like okay?
But that was
okay.
my plan, and I never
Ah.
got that far. So.
Okay.
And sold that off. Then I bought a 83 Monte Carlo SS.
Hello.
And had drove that for
Two-
a little while.
Big 2-door car, yeah.
Big 2-door.
Yeah.
Big,
That
big,
is a long
big car.
door.
Big car.
Yeah.
But love that. And like, two 12-inch subs in the back. Alpine stereo. So,
I did not expect that. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I had a lot of cars. Had a 67 Camaro convertible at one time.
nice.
Convertible.
Had
First
a-
year.
Yeah.
I think,
Oh,
right?
68.
I know.
Sorry.
Was the hair
Okay.
blowing in the wind at
Yeah,
that point?
it was at that point. Yeah. It was a little,
Okay.
It was a little 6-cylinder, so but love that thing too. Sold that. Had a couple of 66 and a 67 Ford Fairlane at one point.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. One was
These would have been like they would have been like 25-year-old cars at this point.
Oh yeah, at that point, yeah. But
Yeah.
again, for the pair of them, I think I paid $1,700 at the time.
Wow.
It was
Kids
cheap.
are never going to get that these
Yeah.
days.
That's
And, like,
amazing.
one had a 390 V8, like the big block V8, and put put some paint on that, sold those off. And
I'm sorry to interrupt, but are these all like quote unquote daily drivers, or these are kind of weekend fun cars?
these were, well, my Monty was basically a daily driver.
Yeah.
And then these were kind of weekend cars.
Yeah.
Well, how many of these did you own at one time?
Oh,
Did I miss
lots.
that?
Oh,
Lots.
probably, yeah.
Oh, I
hordes.
didn't understand that. I thought
Almost
we were
all of
talking
them.
about like a chronological
No.
order. We're actually talking
Yeah.
about like a barn full.
Basically.
Oh, wow.
Good thing my
Gravel
dad,
driveway.
my
Did
dad
Did you guys
was-
know that? And I
No,
didn't.
no,
Oh,
I
I'm
thought
sorry.
he was
Yeah.
like dealing these things
Yeah.
one
Well,
for one.
I would have them for a little while, then I'd trade them off
Yeah.
and get something different.
Did you have them all on the front lawn for sale too? Like
at one point, probably, yeah. So, you know,
an unlicensed car dealer?
couple Chevy square bodies over the years.
Nice.
What is a Chevy Square Body? What is that?
That's a 1973 to 1987 Chev truck.
Oh, it's a pickup.
C10.
Which
Or-
Oh, I know
Which-
that term.
Yeah.
Their value has
Skyrocket.
skyrocketed.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I know what that is based on the C10. That sounds familiar. Okay.
Yeah, had a K car at one point.
Ooh, a nice Reliant
That would
automobile.
be my winter beater because I couldn't drive any of these cars in the winter. So
Sure.
drove a K car. And then, you know, kids, dailies,
Yeah.
no, all that, nothing fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Until I bought my 40th anniversary 911.
Like it.
And now my new one, 2019.
How about your
Courtesy.
Camaro?
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
the
yeah.
Camaro. Yeah. Throw that in there. 2010 Camaro
What-
V8.
Did you buy that new? No.
No, it was
No.
used.
Okay.
And I don't know how many. It was low K, 40K maybe when I got it.
Okay. Couple years old kind
A
of
couple
thing.
years old, a few
Okay.
years old.
What
Yeah.
color was that?
It was like an aqua blue.
Oh, okay.
It was very rare. There was only
Yeah.
like a few of them made in that aqua. It had
Really?
had charcoal stripes on it.
Ooh.
6-speed, big 335 tires on the back.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Where did it go?
It went to the States.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Some guy in Dallas.
What? Like you bought it off like you sell it on eBay or something? Or
Yeah.
wow. Or like bring a trailer or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Okay. Wow.
yeah.
Did you deal this thing before you got the 40th, or like was part of that transaction?
Before. No, I got rid of that, bought a pickup, another pickup.
Yeah.
So, and then I bought the 40.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Your history is very interesting.
We're
I
all
had
learning
no
today.
idea. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Lots
I
of
can't
stuff.
believe how many cars he owned at
Oh,
one
I-
time.
Yeah, I don't know. Good thing my dad, he was kind of into them too, right? So,
That always makes it
right?
easier.
Like
too.
he,
Sure.
he had,
Yeah.
he would always have a couple. I'd have a couple.
Yeah.
Like we had like a 3-car garage that drove out into the backyard.
Oh, I love
so,
that.
perfect.
Oh, so
So we
nice.
just drive and park them out in the back.
Yeah,
and
put 'em
he'd
behind the
sit
shed.
there. Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah, you had to
So-
mow less lawn when there's
Yeah.
that many cars.
Sure.
So
And it is always nice to have somebody like kind of on your side,
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
like, yeah, you should buy that for
Yeah.
sure.
yeah.
Ooh, I don't know anything about that. I can't wait till we get to me. Yeah. Wow.
Sean?
That's quite a history, Mike. Go ahead.
So mine's not particularly long, and I have a few less years than Mike to acquire cars, but
Yeah.
I don't think that's the entire problem here. So I'll tell you where this starts. So I drove dear old dad's pickup trucks in high school. So bless him, because I had wheels to get around, and I think it was he actually sent me a picture of it this weekend, and I think we bought it in 2004 or 5. It was a 1996 Golf 2-door. Probably were they all 2-doors back then?
Oh, I don't know. No, maybe not. Maybe.
wouldn't have
But just to make sure, this is a Mark III Golf. Because the
Mark
one you
III.
showed me the picture of.
Mark
Yeah,
III.
okay. Yeah.
So it's black. It had lived, I think, quite a hard life, but it was the right price. I think it was $3,500.
Nice.
I can't remember if we split it or if dear old dad helped out on that one too. He probably did. But in any event, I can remember. It's the question why. I don't know where it came from, but I can remember going back even to public school. You have to do these speeches. I don't know if that's still a thing, but
I'm not sure anymore, but I definitely did that
sure.
stuff.
So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
did a speech on the Volkswagen Beetle,
Oh, really?
and if you remember,
This is before the new Beetle.
no,
It just came out.
yeah. So
Oh,
that was
the years. Oh, that's
so I did
interesting.
this sort of history thing, but I think in 2001ish or something like that.
I thought it was 99, somewhere in there.
Yeah. So the new Beetle comes out, and
Yeah.
I mean, frankly, it's a girl's car, but I was quite taken by it.
I
for
always thought they
whatever
looked
reason.
good. No, I thought they
Yeah.
looked cool.
Well, they came with a
fake
daisy
flowers.
on the dash. Thank you.
Yeah,
So
but you
that-
replaced that with like a gun or something. You know?
Just a big cigar.
So to bring this all around, I went to the local Volkswagen dealership, and they had, to check out the Beetle and blah, blah, blah. And I remember, so this would have been a few years on, but it was 2003, the 20th anniversary GTI
Oh, so good.
came out, and they had a jazz blue one with silver wheels, red brakes.
So good.
And I was just
I love those.
absolutely like in love with this car. I think it was 40 grand back in those days, which was a pile of money.
Yeah, but they were so good, Dylan. The
Yeah.
blue, the yellow, the black, and that's it, I think, right?
I think that's true. They definitely had yellow. They definitely, and I mean, jazz blue, like that was, and again, I've always
so
been a blue
good.
guy. So it was just, I was like, that's the car. But anyway,
I love that for you.
so when it came to buying like a first car, I honestly just like, was just like, well, can I get a Golf like that?
Yeah,
Cheaper
okay.
and older.
Yeah.
So that car lasted through university. It took some knocks.
Okay.
I had an incident with a curb one evening, and that was some work. There was something else that went on in the back, and it met its demise one evening. Two friends and I were heading into town, and it was Curvy Road, and I had done some work on the rear. I mean, these are basic, simple cars, right?
Yeah.
So the rear axles are just a piece of steel, and then they're called stub axles, like 4 bolts, and then like a hub that you put a wheel on.
Yeah.
One of those just decided to depart the car.
Oh.
So that resulted in it sort of rolling on its side and kind of coming up against the tree. So we dealt with that, and then I had to replace the car. So immediately started shopping again for another Golf/GTI.
As you would.
Right. Got a 2001 GTI Mark IV now, which I found it is in Toronto-ish area.
Yeah.
I can't remember what I paid. I think it was 8 grand, something like that,
Okay.
8,500 bucks.
Yeah.
And it was black, 5-spoke wheels, 1.8 turbo. I tuned it. I put an APR tune on it. I had a short shift kit. And I just thought this thing was a cat's meow. It felt to me pretty fast. My friend had a 5-liter Mustang, which it almost kept up with. So I was
Right,
like,
yeah,
this
yeah.
is
That's
great.
pretty fast.
Yeah, Volkswagens, the gear ratios are always they're so aggressive. I mean, they're always short. They're
Yes.
awesome.
They're not good highway cars,
No,
but
no, exactly.
And so from there, then what was next? Oh, so I don't really know why I got rid of that car. Like I liked it. I thought for maybe whatever reason it was going to let me down.
Tell us the color.
It was black.
Oh, it's black.
Both of
Okay.
these cars were black,
Oh, okay.
which is interesting because I don't have much interest in a black car now. But
It happens.
yeah. Then I bought, I think from there, a 2012 Ford Edge. And this is like the red herring in the whole thing. Like,
That is a left turn.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Responsible you came out.
It's something like that.
So I had like a proper job then.
So you needed a proper SUV?
Well,
Yeah.
no, that, so
okay, yeah,
when I look back, like I was still very young, and friends and we would go places. We drove everywhere and anywhere. We'd take trips, and I think I probably thought oftentimes it'd be me who drove. Mm-hmm. I was like, well, why not just have like a car you can fit stuff in, people, luggage, whatever.
Okay.
I don't know. When I still look back, I'm like, I'm not really sure why I did that.
What color?
It was a pearl white.
Okay.
It like literally chrome. They're not real
Yeah.
chrome, but they're
Nice.
like
Yeah.
cladded wheels,
Nice.
chrome door handles.
A car that would perfectly suit a 62-year-old.
Yeah.
That's the idea?
No,
Okay, right,
exactly.
okay. Yeah,
I'm
Must have
not.
knew somebody with the X plan.
I did. I had the X-Plan. Maybe you hit on something here, Mike.
Right. Cost plus. Yeah. Right. Okay.
And so that lasted a couple of years, and then it had a 3.6 V6 or something in it, and I was driving 240 kilometers a day.
Oh, wow.
And I started to think, oh, this is burning a lot of fuel. Do I really need? So I bought a 2014 diesel Jetta and a 6-speed manual. I've sort of went back to Volkswagen. It was a dark gray color. I think Ryan, you had
I
of the
did have a
same
dark
color.
gray. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can't remember what it's called, but in any event, that lasted for 3 years, I think.
Okay,
and then
that's
a little
pretty good.
thing called Dieselgate came along.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And being a car enthusiast, that they come along and they say, we're going to pay you $5,000 in damages, basically, and then we're also going to give you an extremely generous value for you to turn your car back in.
Right.
And in hindsight, I probably should have hung on to it a little bit longer, because there was like this formula where the longer you drove it, you got a little bit less, but not much. Like you basically drive this thing for free. Mm-hmm. Anyway, but of course I was like, well, money in my pocket is burning a hole in my pocket. So
Yes. Did they pay you more? Just it's a bit of a sarcastic comment, but did they pay you more because they only had to ship it to Detroit to the crushing yard?
no, I don't think so.
Because you weren't living that far from there.
No, but I turned it back in on steely, rusty winter tires.
Right.
I sold the actual ones. It had no exhaust. I had ripped all of the exhaust stuff on it.
Right. Yeah.
And I was like nervous about this, and I've since learned, like, they turned it on, they put it in first gear, and like let the clutch slightly engage. I said, "Yep, it rolls, and they wanted nothing to do with it, and they sent them all into a crusher. So
Oh, that makes me so sad.
yeah.
Those are great cars.
And then from there, it gets pretty short because I traded that car on a 2017 Audi Allroad in Manhattan Gray Metallic, which I
Great
still
car.
drive today.
Great car.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very happy with it. Unlike Mike, I did not get a lemon, thankfully.
Right.
And
That's an open wound, man.
God, dig it deeper.
so, and then we've already talked about, so that, the Porsche was the next purchase, and I'm basically stuck with the Allroad for quite some time now because I don't want to have to pay for two cars. So
I hear that.
yeah,
Nothing wrong with that.
that's it.
That's an interesting history.
Yeah,
A lot of black hatchbacks or dark gray hatchbacks.
A lot of
lot of
Volkswagens.
VWs.
Yeah. Except for that silly Ford Edge in there.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah,
Interesting.
Left field.
All of them had hatches, though.
Yeah,
Actually,
that's exactly
even the
what I was
Ford
saying.
Edge.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I drove a Ford. I want to be fair to a Ford Edge. I've rented them a couple times. I thought it was a pleasant enough car.
Oh, there's nothing
fine.
wrong
Oh
with
yeah,
it.
there's nothing wrong.
It sort of sits. You sit kind of low in it. The dashboard's a little high. Like it has a bit of a. And
It's a
I don't know, it's got a
perfectly
vibe.
adequate, nice car. It just
Yeah.
wasn't for me. And when I look back on it, just probably wasn't all that sort of in line with what I was looking to purchase.
right. Okay. Yeah.
All right,
Interesting. Oh, you're looking
you're
at me.
up.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all seemed to focus on our first car, so I'll focus on mine, which my heart still beats for. I didn't get a choice in my first car. My father's a generous guy and showed up one day with a 1998 Honda Civic DX hatchback,
Could be worse. A lot
five-speed
worse.
manual,
Yeah.
used.
This is
which,
the console-less one.
Yeah.
exactly no center console, DX, DX.
Clear glass, big greenhouse on this thing.
Exactly.
Yep.
Black hatchback. 5-speed manual. I did not drive manual at the time. I was fully aware of the concept because I had been in some cars as a 14-year-old driving them around, but I really had no actual experience. And my dad bought this car used from some guy he met at a golf course. Like it was one of those random.
Yeah.
He said, "Hey," he came home and he's like, "I bought you this car. You're gonna learn to drive on this car." And I want to say it was like a $10,000 car. It wasn't a huge amount of money. But my father's an accountant, so along with the car came some rules and a payment schedule on paying him back for the car.
Perfect.
So I had a part-time job and I worked at a lot of hours at Tim Hortons. So, paying $300 a month for a car was perfectly acceptable. So I had this Honda. My mom is the primary teacher for me to drive manual.
Interesting.
And I remember distinctly sitting at intersections that were slightly slanted with no hill hold and being genuinely thinking, I'm never going to drive this car because it would roll back every time you'd let the clutch out. And it was, I just remember that feeling of terror, I guess. Anyway, I ended up thinking that I didn't want this car, but within the year, I was like, no, I actually kind of like it. It's pretty fun. It was, you could fit 4 people comfortably, etc. So I did what any teenager with a part-time job did and didn't have any expenses. I piled money into it.
Of course.
I lowered it on full Tane coilover suspension. I bought all OEM plus Honda stuff. So I had a full Civic Type R body kit brought in, all the lip kit, all the tail lights, headlights, everything. I changed everything. I stripped the interior down. I polished all of the paint that was under the seats, made everything perfectly black, shiny, removed all the rear seats, put in Recaro SRDs, straight out of a Civic Type R, Takata harnesses, went to town on everything on the car except for the engine. Because I couldn't bring myself to swap the engine, just sort of thinking, I don't want to affect the reliability of the car. So I had this car that it had spoon shift, short shifter on. It had everything. People would never have any idea that it was a standard generic engine, but the car looked the part. It looked like a Type R. It was perfect. Grill was changed. Everything was perfect.
And you did this all on a Tim Hortons schedule.
I worked nonstop. There's no question. So my days were school from, let's say, 8 o'clock till 2:30. My mom would pick me up, or I'd have a car, and I would drive straight to the Tim Hortons and work a full 8-hour shift. I worked all the time. I did homework at 11 at night. I'm not a school guy. I just was just want to make money.
Give me some money.
Yeah, exactly. And my dad's an accountant.
Yeah,
so making money is no problem.
Yep.
Have at her.
Yeah.
And I want to be fair to my parents. They did, until I got my G2, my full license, I definitely was driven to the Tim Hortons. And I now look back and realize that my mom picking me up at 11 at night was annoying.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
But she also wasn't paying for any of my expenses. So what a win. Anyway, this car, I was very attached to this car. And I decided, I had it probably for 4 years. I decided that I was going to sell it in exchange for my first new car, So I sold it to a friend. I think I sold it for $6,000. I stripped all the wheels and stuff off of it. I stripped it right down. And I still loved the car. He was learning to drive because in his case, he didn't learn to drive till he was 20. And unfortunately, he wrote it off within like 3 weeks.
Oh, no.
And it's a real shame because I loved the car and I had babysat it for all those years. And I just wanted to help him by giving him the car because he wanted to learn to drive. And it's a great learning car. It was perfect. And unfortunately, it met its demise. I think in a parking lot being drifted around in the snow. Unfortunately.
Yeah, I know a little bit
happens.
about that, but I didn't write anything off.
No. Yeah.
By the way, I could see Dylan doing the mental math. He's quite a bit younger than us, and and just so you know, a few years before you were born, you could actually work at Tim Hortons and sort of like get ahead. That's
I only made. I don't want to give anyone the wrong impression. I think I made $5.15 an hour when I started. I made nothing, but they'd give you hours like you wouldn't believe. I mean, they'd pay you nonstop to come in. Anytime you want to work, come on in. We need people.
Parts couldn't have been that expensive.
The seats were $3,000 for two. It was a huge investment. I had to wait 9 or 10 weeks to get them from Germany.
The Tayan coilovers.
The coilovers were $3,000. The wheel set was full SIR Honda OEM stuff, so that was probably around $1,000. New tires, Yokohama Advan type.
You weren't messing around.
No, the car was. I wish I could find you a photo. This is pre-digital camera. I have photos of it in a box somewhere, so I'll try for next week to dig up the photo.
That's a lot of doubles.
Yeah,
That
right.
is.
That's a lot.
But I worked nonstop. And then when I was 17, I got a job at the car rental. So then I got to drive everything. I got to drive Vipers. My boss had all kinds of cars. It was a private car rental. So Vipers, the Ford Thunderbirds that I loved from that generation. We drove all the cars, Yukon Denali's, Escalades. We had everything. So I got to drive everything. And the Civic was still my baby, but I only had to drive it to work. And then I got to use company cars, which was great. This again, after school hours. I worked all the time. Anyway, the next step was my first new car. I jumped right into new cars, and I was able, luckily because I had saved money, I was able to buy a brand new 2004 WRX. Brand new in cash. I had saved up some money. So I got it, it was about maybe 6 months old. It'd been on the lot. I was able to, I think I bought it for $25,000 because they were, back in then, they weren't that expensive. I think it might have listed around 29.
Sure.
And it was sitting there for a while.
And remind me, in 04,
it's not the Bug-Eye.
not the STI though?
No.
Okay.
Just before the STI launched.
Yes, okay.
I knew it was coming. I was connected enough in the Subaru world because I coveted a Subaru only from a Honda world. Anyway, I bought this WRX. I beat the living wheels off that car. I mean, I was working on the Ontario Performance Rally Championship, so I was working on route notes with some people that were well educated in that business. I was writing course notes, and I had full competition gravel tires for the car that I would lug up to the middle of nowhere, swap over in a gas station parking lot, full 1/4-inch steel plating on the bottom of the car, Spec C Type RA suspension. I had gone nuts on this car. I loved rally.
And
So
you're driving this thing through
driving it every day.
stages. Yeah.
But the gravel tires you had to take off. They were over 80 kilometers an hour. They're so loud you can't hear yourself think. But I basically had that car only a year, and by the time I traded it in, the paint was like missing from all of the fenders because those gravel tires pick up everything.
Yeah.
Went from that, as you so eloquently put, Sean, I bought an STI. Of course I did.
Well, naturally.
Because the 04s came, they knew what it was, I guess 04 STI showed up just slightly after that, and I was dying for one of
to
those.
have one.
So
For sure.
yeah, and I'm a dumb kid, and at that point I couldn't afford that car in cash, so I took on a nice ugly payment, and drove that car for work and beat the crap out of it, put too many miles on it, and I had this really sad moment like 14 months later, which was a great 14 months with that car. I had this really sad moment where I put on like 80,000 kilometers, and I needed to change for a different work vehicle. I needed a different work car. It was too heavy on fuel, too heavy on tires, brakes, everything, and I had this sad moment where I traded it for a diesel Jetta, a 2007.
Oh, well before. Yeah.
But right before the first diesel gap. There was a gap of like 2.5 years where they didn't produce diesel for North America. And it was this, I will forever remember, I dropped off my STI, lost money on it, and had to write the guy a check for $9,000 to take it away, and then drove away in my diesel 5-speed base model Jetta, no sunroof, no nothing, which was one of those moments in my life that I'll remember forever. However, the diesel Jetta was an excellent vehicle. It was a great car. I drove it 295,000 kilometers.
Nice.
Wow.
For work, and the clutch went. I was leaving a client, and I was hammering the gas as I always would with this diesel because it had torque everywhere. And fifth gear, it just the revs went up, but the car didn't accelerate. And I guess diesel torque, the way the curve works, this is my understanding. I'm not perfect, but I think the torque is actually higher in gear 4 and 5 at that time. It was a 5-speed manual car. And when I called my mechanic, he was like, yeah, it's time to dump that car because the clutch isn't going to last much longer.
Yeah.
You're losing 5th gear, 4th goes next, and it just goes down.
Yeah.
Luckily, I'd had the car for 295 kilometers, and they traded it. I still got paid $5,000 for it.
And that
Diesels.
Wow.
Yeah, right.
You know?
I mean, nobody's afraid of the kilometers on those.
No,
but that
they're
would
just going to change the clutch and drive it some more.
yeah,
Yep.
it would have been a Mark V, right? Ish?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the kind of bubbly headlights.
I test drove one of those once.
It's a great car.
Couldn't, like, this was well out of my league, but I remember driving it thinking, like, wouldn't this be amazing? And yeah, very nice car.
It was a great car.
Yeah.
Then I had a quick blip into Toyota, bought a Corolla. I promptly had 2 traffic accidents and just determined the car was cursed because I'd never had an accident before.
Sure.
So in 6 months, I had 2 accidents, decided it was cursed. And then I made my first big boy step into a professional level car and I bought a Jetta GLI.
Nice.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And I loved that car, black on black. Met my wife in that car. The first car I ever picked her up in was my black 2012 Jetta GLI.
6-speed then?
6-speed manual.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then bought another one, 2014 GLI.
Why not GTI? Sorry to interrupt again.
Oh,
but
work. I needed to carry stuff in the trunk. GTI was just always a little too small.
Yeah.
But my 14 was a 30th anniversary car, so it had those sexy 30th anniversary wheels on it,
Yep.
and it had the special leather on the interior. It's a
Yeah,
beautiful
yeah.
car. I used it a lot. Put a roof rack on it.
Nice.
Killed the gas mileage. Carried my bikes all over the place all the time. Great car. So then I traded that for a 16 GLI. So I had 3 GLIs in a row.
Holy.
These are work cars, so they were
Yeah.
just every 2 years I'm swapping into a new one.
Yeah.
16 GLI was white. My first, what's the automatic for Volkswagen? DSG?
yes.
It was my first
that's
DSG
right.
car.
Yep.
And then right in that window of time, got an opportunity to buy the first of the Mark 7 Golf Rs, the ones that were coming here, the new one, the first one that was actually
7. Yep.
Yeah, not the 12,
Well-
13, but the 16 model. Is that a 7?
Well, so the 4-cylinder was the 7, and then before that it was still the VR6,
Yeah, it's
right?
it's the 4-cylinder.
Okay, so the Mark 7, yeah.
And the only reason I got the opportunity was a friend of mine told me he had one on order and he was canceling it. So I just called the Volkswagen dealer and said, I wouldn't mind taking that over. And by this point I had enough success, I thought that I could buy a second car. So I drove the Jetta GLI as a work car and had the Golf R as a toy.
Nice.
And kept that a year. Lapis blue, that bright blue that they all are.
Oh, yeah.
DSG. It was the most entertaining little like rocket hatchback thing. It was super fun. Amanda ended up driving it more than I did by far.
Yep.
Wheel damage all the time. Tires were like veneer. Like you couldn't go over a pothole. You had to be careful. They were like paint on a wheel. There was nothing to them. Yeah. And then if I divert from work cars, because there's 2 paths now.
Yeah.
The simple answer is work cars have always been Volkswagens. So they've been good to me. I have no complaints. We moved from a Jetta finally to a Golf wagon. Diesel, 6-speed manual. Got T-boned, wrote it off.
Oh.
Shame. Lady ran a red light and creamed us. And then we traded that for a 2019 Volkswagen All-Track 6-speed manual.
Great car.
The rarest of the rare.
Love those.
Super rare in an
That
All-Track.
is very rare.
Yeah. Love that car. And then COVID came along and boy, that was worth a lot of money. So I'm now in Tiguan's and have been to Tiguan's for work. On the personal front, after the Golf R came the, I guess we had a big gap there where we didn't have anything really luxury. I bought an S4, 2018 S4. Then shortly after, kept that at maybe a year.
B8.5.
Yeah. It was not available with a manual. I remember
Right.
being gutted because it was like just after the manual stopped production. So I got it anyway, thinking it would satisfy me. And
Yeah.
after a year, I was like, no, it's not the right car.
Yeah.
And then came my first real love, which was a Miata. 2016 Miata, as you guys have heard me hammer on about. I
I've
love that
talked about
car.
that.
Traded the Miata for a Cayman. Cayman moved in exchange for a Spider, 718 Spider in GT Silver over Bordeaux Red, which Sean knows.
Yes.
And then finally the step to get the Mint GT4. I've had a long story. I'm sorry, fellas, but there's a lot of cars in there.
Interesting. Well,
No, it's good.
Yeah.
we said we were going to disappoint, but you've had way more cars than I anticipated you did. That's interesting.
I think I got them all. I
Yeah.
did have an old Toyota Highlander in there. There was some stuff like that.
You did remind me at one point, you had mentioned your diesel lost the clutch, and there was something before about changing the motor or something. So I mentioned that the Mark III had lived a hard life.
Yeah.
And it didn't really have a, what would you call that? A detent or something, a reverse gear lockout.
Yes. Okay.
And so they were notorious for, I mean, you could be driving along at any speed or, in a parking lot, and like finding reverse instead of first was like, a common occurrence. So
Right.
either that happened too many times before I got it. I certainly did it a few times after I got it. and poor reverse was giving up. So he was obviously missing some teeth, and you'd go to, you disengage the clutch, and by the time you got the thing fully loaded, it would just go bang, and it would pop out.
Oh my God.
Oh, that is awful.
Yeah. So I at that, keeping in mind, I don't know, was I 20 yet? I probably was. So anyways, I'm a young man.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know if I can rip the transmission apart and put a clutch in and blah, blah, blah. So I had the bright idea. I was like, well, so I bought a whole donor car.
Oh, wow.
$800, this piece of shit, rusted out thing.
Yeah.
But it had, according to the odometer, who knows? Yeah. It had less kilometers on it than my car.
Yeah.
And so one summer, the summer that this sort of all shit itself, I ripped the donor car apart, took the engine and transmission apart as one, pressure washed it off my dad's driveway and stained it. Thankfully he's moved because he was not pleased about that, and it never came out.
We're just talking a big greasy oil stain.
Oh yeah, rust, oil, the whole thing.
Gross.
And so I put the whole motor and transmission in this Mark III Golf, ripped the, you just take the front bumper and basically the front clip off and just slide it in. And like 6 months later, drove it to Florida. It was flawless. It was the only thing that went wrong is when the donor car that I had bought didn't have AC.
Okay.
And there was one little sensor that I didn't change or didn't know I needed because it wasn't on that motor, and took it out of the other car, and it ran like a top.
Did you have a manual for that? That's a big deal.
I did have not a Haynes manual.
Yeah, one of those.
It didn't tell you how to change the motor, but when I ran into a few things, you could reference it.
Okay, wow.
But yeah, this was well before you couldn't go on YouTube and find.
No, exactly. That's why I was asking.
And to be honest, I really didn't know exactly what I was doing, but it's a pretty simple, it's not a complicated car. So,
wow.
Yeah, that was a big victorious moment.
Yeah, that is.
That's a huge deal. Man. I don't think I could do that.
Well, but yeah, so that lasted for however many couple more years, and the second transmission was started to do the same thing, and then of course the incident with the tree sort of happened anyway. So it didn't matter.
Yeah, right. The tree. We're just gonna.
So we've all been through a bunch of cars.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to give the wrong impression. I'm fully aware that they are a complete waste of money. I get that. There's no. I love them, but they're a total waste.
It's a disease. We're all afflicted. This is why we're here.
Yeah. Yep. I in my life, I definitely had to when I started the business, I had to push them away. When Amanda knew me, in the early years, I didn't spend money on cars at all because I was I don't have this money.
Yeah.
It came time after 15 or 20 years of grinding that you could start to have some fun.
Sure.
But I just couldn't. She couldn't believe it when I started telling her how much I love cars. She said, I didn't never know this about you. And I was like, yeah, that's because I blew all that money forever ago. You weren't here.
Yeah.
Now I got a mortgage.
I straightened up. Yeah. I had to keep it under.
I let a little bit out. It all gets out.
Exactly. It's a bit of a, you're totally right.
Yeah. I know.
Anyway, that was an interesting history for all of you. I feel like I know you guys well, but that was interesting. Mike's history was particularly. I didn't know he ran a car dealer on his own. That's amazing.
And none of you thought I had a pearl white edge either. So.
No,
I never thought that.
Yeah. We're going to divert slightly, but we're going to talk about a listener request, I think, which was cars at certain price points. Is that right? So...
No, I think you're selling our man Dylan short here. Now this is his topic.
I'm sorry, Dylan. I'm sorry.
I think we just modified some. I think somebody said cars at good buys.
Okay.
That's a little too vague. So we stuck with, what did we stick with? 60 grand?
Yes.
Yeah.
And 150?
150.
Okay, so
150.
just for clarity, though, it's a weekend car at 60 grand and a weekend car at 150.
Yeah.
Yes,
or
correct.
less.
Yeah, or less. Yeah, you can have two at less. Just don't go over 150. Let's try to keep this, where 70% of the weekend shoppers are going to spend their money.
Fair enough.
And you're not necessarily owning both at the same time.
Nope,
We're just setting a budget to say, if you had 60 to spend, here's what I might do.
Yeah.
And then conversely, same with 150.
Yeah.
Yep.
And these are all, we're not going crazy with no payment schedule or anything like that.
Oh, you're talking about buying it out?
Just buying down, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
we're not getting crazy about this.
Okay.
Yeah, you can calculate in depreciation or not. I mean, what would you want to have? There you go.
So it has to be a cash purchase.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, I like your hypothetical. We're gonna have Mike go first in
60,000.
Give it to us, Mike.
Under 60 grand.
Under 60.
Yeah.
I'm thinking for me, Nissan Z.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
New one?
2024.
The new one.
The new one.
Okay.
That's a good show.
Yeah.
What do those run for?
About 60. 59, 58. right
around the top of the budget.
Right at the budget.
Right. Don't option it.
Right.
Can't afford that.
Something quite reliable.
Totally.
right?
I would
Sporty.
think so. Yeah.
And now that you said that, I want to shout out. I think the back of the new Z looks really good. The front, I'm unclear. The back, I think, is a real win.
I was a big
it's really
350Z growing up. I love those things, right?
Like the Datsun.
The Nissan.
the
Because my mom had a 280Z growing
Oh,
up.
wow.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
I love the launch color on that one.
Yeah. So,
It was like a copper, wasn't it?
yeah, it was.
Oh, those are so, with the
that was
with the
pretty
copper
cool.
interior.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah.
So, good car. I don't know.
Are we going around on
We're
60?
going
We'll
around.
come
yeah,
back.
we'll
Okay.
all do 60 and then we'll come back.
60 or less. Sean's going.
Okay, so
Oh, he's got some notes.
Oh,
Oh,
he's got-
boy.
The trader
I thought we had to
How
have.
did I know this is going to
Oh, we had to have a picture. Like
No, that's
This
fine.
guy has an email address just for his auto trader, man.
Well,
Come
I
on.
should do.
That is BAT.
Mike doesn't need that because you can buy that probably brand new. But by the way, you don't see those. They're not being sold well. Although
There's tons of them on Trader.
Yeah.
Tons
Like the
of
new
there?
ones. The new ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do like those. That's a good show.
The Nismo one is the more money, right?
Yeah, but it's only automatic.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
the
really?
problem. Yeah. You don't want that one.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah.
So, I think we've talked about this car before. So I've come up with this is at Bud's. Could be BMW. Bud's owns a million things. In
Yes, they
Oakville.
do. Yeah, they definitely do. Yeah.
So it's a 2015 Jaguar F-Type V8R coupe.
Ooh,
What,
this is
what year? Sorry.
2015.
Okay, yeah.
So 15 means it's rear wheel drive only.
That might have been 14, but you're right. It's in that
okay.
era.
Okay,
14 or
okay.
15, I think that was a
Because
thing.
I know they went to
all-wheel drive.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
no, I
okay.
think you
That's
are
what
right on that.
Good friend Leon has one.
Right. Okay. Yeah. But his would be rear wheel drive.
It's all wheel.
Oh, it's all wheel drive.
All-wheel,
Okay.
yeah.
Sorry, Sean. Yeah.
So no. So this is 53,790. So you're right in at the budget with taxes,
okay.
and it's got a very nice red leather interior. It's Fuji white, which
That's fine.
I can take it or leave it, but it's got black wheels. So I mean, you'll appreciate this, Ryan. You like a nice Panda spec,
I do like a Panda spec.
and I think honestly they facelifted this in 18, 19, something like that.
Okay.
Maybe it was
Yeah.
20. It
You
doesn't
mean
matter.
where they went to that really skinny headlight,
Correct.
which I think looks good. It's just
Yeah,
different.
looks
yeah,
good,
yeah.
think
but
they
I
look great.
I actually
Yeah.
prefer the first gen.
Okay.
And I mean, this car is just raucous. It's like
Show us the picture.
It's the
Yeah, that's
yeah.
that's a good car.
loudest.
Yeah, they're good.
I mean, they were only automatic, I think.
I think the original, maybe the base model was available. I'm not actually sure.
I bet you they're all automatic. If
I
had
think
to
no,
guess.
I think they because I'm pretty sure they introduced the stick when they opened up the V6, which was later.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe.
But in
Okay.
any event, like when I think about, we unfortunately live in a part of the world / Ontario that is just basically a grid. It's flat, straight roads. And if you think about what you want in a weekend car, here, it's got to make a good noise. If it can do a great burnout, that's a bonus. And it looks good, and it attracts some attention. Then great. So this is, I think, for what's a very reasonable price, I think this is a great car. It probably won't let you down, and it's going to start every weekend, and you're going to have a great time.
I like it.
There you go.
Is it going to
yeah,
start every
that's what I
weekend?
would- yeah,
No,
probably will let you
casually
down.
brought that
No?
into the conversation.
I think they're good.
I think Range Rovers taint the JLR brand as a whole, but
I
I don't
see.
think these Jaguars really go wrong that much.
All right, maybe I'm being unfair. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
that's
didn't know
interesting.
either.
Still, let's have it. What are you having for 60?
Yeah.
You know what? I think you summed up very well with your last points there.
Yeah, okay.
When you said it's flat. Do good burnouts sound good? So
Okay.
I know
going
what's
with
coming.
I'm
Or
going with
have
the
an idea.
C6 Z06.
I was going to say Corvette.
Yeah.
Nailed
But
it.
is that under 60 now?
Oh yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's
Yeah.
at the top. Let's.
It's right at the top.
It's
Okay,
59.99,
I think
like,
that's such a good looking car. I'm
Yes.
not a Corvette guy, but they
Oh,
look killer.
They look so good.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Color?
a Z06, so like supercharged, right? You get a little over 500 horse.
That's a lot. Oh. Color?
You know what? I'm gonna say it again. Another yellow one.
Oh, wow.
because that was
They do look good in yellow.
They do. They totally do.
Okay,
And
what
that was the
body
year.
style though?
Yeah.
But that
Are we
was,
going coupe?
Oh, yeah, coupe.
convertible.
I'm doing
okay.
coupe.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. Okay. Was a convertible available in Z06?
no,
no.
Not in
probably
the
not.
C6. Yes.
I have no idea.
Z06 probably maybe only had
Seven,
that one.
C7 it was for sure. I don't know about.
because they're like Targa tops, right?
Oh yeah,
I think
maybe
that's true. I think
Maybe.
that's
Yeah.
true.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
But that year had like the see-through, like paint matched headlights.
Yes. Yes.
yes,
So,
yes,
So
yes,
the,
yes,
you know,
yes,
so
yes.
the yellow would fall
Yeah.
all the way through
Yes.
the body. I thought it was
Yeah.
pretty cool.
It is a cool car. I
Yeah.
totally agree.
I know, and they're just they're so reliable and.
But what do you
parts
think?
everywhere.
50 grand? You think 50 grand? Or
Oh
are we
no,
talking?
it's CO6 is up in 60.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
it's right at the top of the budget, but
he's going to negotiate a few thousand off. It'd be okay.
Oof, you don't know, man. Corvette owners, they really baby those things.
oh no, I bet you right now, You could get
Dylan,
Oh, yeah.
he'll work his magic.
So now we've got two
I got
cars that
more
we
years
might
in
buy.
me than they do.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. That's true. There's two cars we might buy. One of us might have an ID Buzz, and there might be a C606 somewhere. Okay, I didn't go as far on the preparation as Sean did with his phone and his Auto Trader ad there. Well, I can tell you my gut reaction very quickly, just off the hop, is to buy another Miata. It's as simple as that. I would buy.
You could buy two for that budget, can you not?
No. I'd buy it brand new. So I would.
Okay.
I have some thoughts on that. I would buy an ND2, so a new one.
Okay.
Black with the Club Sport package. Lower it and likely invest the extra $20,000 in a flying Miata V8 the whole.
Oh, you're going mods.
Yeah,
too.
why not?
Oh,
why
like
not?
it.
Because the car's only $39,000 new.
Yeah.
So I can buy the flying Miata kit, which they don't make anymore, but you can buy the leftovers. Put the
like where
big
your head's at.
Ford V8 in there, whatever engine.
Coyote.
Yeah, Coyote.
Yeah.
Put that in there, and I mean, that
I like
car
where you're
is
going with this.
incredible.
Yeah.
Even with the base engine, it's awesome. But flying Miata cars are really special. And I would just do that. And I bet you I could get that done around $60,000.
I think you're probably right.
It needs to be black, by the way. I'm becoming more and more attracted to black cars, and I like the idea of a Miata in black.
Where did Ryan go, guys?
Yeah, right.
I know. I love my babies, but I'm liking the idea of being under the radar.
What did we talk about last week? Some sort of car show that
Yeah.
celebrated
Yeah.
the cars and what of
think it
Porsche?
Hey, listen.
Colors, I think, right?
I'm happy to have a
Shades.
black car. I told you, I'm happy. There's lots of versions of black, but this is a Miata with a V8 stuffed under the hood. I don't think it needs to be loud.
Oh, it's loud.
No, it doesn't need to have a loud color. Forgive me.
Yes,
Sorry.
Yes.
Interesting.
I wouldn't. Okay.
I wasn't expecting
Yeah,
that.
I like the mod.
Well, the
spec,
Miata,
though.
yes, but
Yeah.
not the mod.
Because you can do it within the price. I mean, I'm like,
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Hey,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're well within the rules. We'll give that to you.
Yep.
Totally.
right.
Mike's
Next.
okay. The next
150.
150
I
Canadian.
don't know.
We're talking
Canadian dollars.
Canadian
And
pesos.
this is where this. I mean, the
There's
world is
so
your
many.
oyster.
There's
exactly.
so many.
Yes.
There is a ton.
I
But-
understand.
I know. For a brand new car,
Oh, you're
you
back
guys are
on
gonna
brand
hate
new
me.
again.
You're gonna hate me.
No.
C8 Vet.
Yeah.
I'm just going there.
Yeah.
And they're less than 150, but you can put every option you want on it
Yep.
for 150.
Well, what's the new ZR or ZL1? ZR1?
No.
That's
No.
one-
I think it's
151?
well above 200, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Yeah,
but
okay.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I think. Oh, God, what
No,
I
so
wanted
hold
to
on.
say,
So you've
MSRP was 160 US.
Yeah, you've
Yeah.
you've
Yeah,
conflated
yeah.
two cars because there's Z06, which is an MSRP of 165. You said ZR1, which is going to be 1,200 horsepower and 250 grand.
No.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That is a distinction.
Yeah.
Yes, slightly.
Yes, very big distinction.
Z06, though, I mean,
Yeah.
if it's a year old, which
Maybe.
they kind of are now, maybe
I don't even care. Just give me a base one. They look cool.
that would be a
Yeah.
for 150. That'd be a hell of a car.
Can I present
For a
an argument?
Z06, I would.
yeah,
I wouldn't
absolutely.
pay 150 bucks or 150.
No.
for
But if he's buying a base model
even a
one,
3LT,
yeah, I don't know what that is, but I don't speak Chevy.
it's just like
3LT was what? 119, I want to say?
Yeah,
All right, gear down here, Chevy. Let's just. What the hell is a 3LT?
it's just the
like-
spec.
Can I give it some
Oh.
advice? You correctly pointed out, don't try and decipher Mercedes Model S. This is kind of similar.
bizarre.
Yeah.
Okay, but hold on. So, but if you bought that like 2 years old, it would be like what 100? Like
Oh,
it
yeah,
would be.
yeah.
So
Oh,
yeah,
are you
for
gonna
sure.
mod it?
Oh.
I don't care. I'm
didn't
just
even think
asking.
of that. I didn't think of that. But
You got 150 grand to spend, man.
yeah.
What are you
Well,
gonna do with that
if you
other
had
50?
a-
I know what he's going to do. He's going to paint the wheels on his bloody Cayenne. So
Astute observation, John. Astute.
I
Yeah.
don't know. Just drive the thing.
That was
Okay.
funny.
What color is it gonna be?
It's got to be red.
Red.
It's got to be a red car.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we going convertible?
No, coupe. I'm not a convertible guy.
Yeah, me neither.
No.
I don't need to feel the wind in my hat.
I don't. The wind is the sound. It's about hearing the car.
Yeah.
The wind can
God,
get
they do
annoying
sound good,
sometimes.
though.
I'm done with the sunburn too.
Yeah.
I'm done with it.
Fair
There's
enough.
a trade-off.
It's got to be red.
Okay, Sean's picking up his phone again. Prepare yourselves.
Yeah. By the
There we
way,
go.
If I don't even know what's on your phone, I can almost guarantee I can tell you what you're going to say.
Do you want to let him guess or not?
yeah, no, I do because he might be right.
You look
There's
confident.
no way you're not buying an Aston.
Oh, so he is half right. He's quasi right.
I can't believe you
I
actually
would
got that.
have
Yeah.
guessed Aston.
For sure.
I'm shocked. Okay,
'Cause I
go,
was
go,
down
go.
with
Yeah. So let me just start by saying, if anybody listens that works at Auto Trader, what on earth have you done to the app and the website? It is horrendous. I hate it. And I
really?
can,
That's
it's the worst.
I don't want to talk about it. I don't care. But
Unroll
like
it.
you just feed out what you want to say
I've got
about
that
it.
off my chest.
Okay.
So I'm going to start by answering this question by not answering the question, because both of these cars are not the ones I would buy. But Dylan is right, because what I've got here as two options is a 2014 Aston Martin Vanquish 2-door coupe in BC. It's got
What color?
oh, it's silver.
Silver, nice, classy, very Bond.
Here, let me just. You can share the pic.
I mean, this
on
is a beautiful car. I cannot believe that is $119,000.
Well,
that's a steal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I agree.
Wasn't that like 300 grand?
No more.
Yeah, more.
Holy moly!
When we say the world is yours
That's a
right
good
now,
choice.
right?
You gave some thought to this.
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
I feel inadequate right now.
So, I mean, when we talk about, my first thought was in this 150 budget, what's one of the most appreciated cars? And Aston was like the first to come to mind.
gotta be.
That's kind of a slag against
That's
Aston, but
interesting.
still.
Okay.
So then I went shopping for, well, what can I get? I did not expect to find a Vanquish. And I mean, who knows the history in this car, but it's only got 60,000 kilometers. It's
so
a
it's actually been driven to its
6-liter
credit.
V12.
Yeah.
It didn't have that crappy robotic 7-speed digitized manual thing. It's a proper 6-speed slush box. So it'll be fine.
Right.
So I thought, well, okay, but maybe that has a problem. So I had a backup car,
Of course you did.
and I found a 2011. You know what? Hold on. It is another Aston. And I
While he's searching for it, well, let's just discuss at 119,000.
here it is.
Honestly, he's got $31,000 to
For maintenance.
Fix
For
it.
maintenance.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
because we just know, like,
Which I will be spending on it. Let's
exactly
not get that wrong.
That
Yeah.
seems like extraordinary value. Okay,
Yeah.
this is
Oh
interesting.
yeah, even the DB series is like so okay.
I'm
here we go.
going there.
That's where he's
Sean,
going.
Sean just threw a finger in the air, just so the listener
but
can't see that.
I'm impressed though that Dylan is. We're on the same wavelength right now.
Wow, I am.
So what I've got here now is a 2018 Aston Martin DB11,
18, nice.
which is
Okay, so that's that new design where it's like giant clamshell hood with the fender. cut that
100%.
comes- Oh, that's a
Yep.
cool looking car.
Very
Yeah,
good
yeah.
looking car.
Yeah.
This one is done in a shade known as Arizona bronze.
Oh,
So
I
it's
have no idea what that's.
gonna be a
coppery brown.
brown. Yeah.
Has a gorgeous cognac interior.
oh, baby.
This is also a V12 car. It's in Niagara Falls, second owner, 36,000 kilometers. How much do you guys think?
140.
No.
Yeah, great guess. 139.9.
Come on, really?
Those cars are that the best part about that is it looks contemporary. Like it is a
Oh,
modern
it's so
vehicle.
contemporary. This is
Yeah.
a gorgeous, gorgeous car.
Yeah.
And like, so you go to the gentleman, I assume, that drives this, I don't know, and you say 125, and he probably goes, sure. Like, will it go wrong? Maybe.
Send him a message right now. We want to know, but
Right?
before the end of the episode.
Yeah.
It's not Sunday. He'll respond.
So those are my two non-answers to this question. I'm sorry to bang on
Oh
about
man,
this.
Okay,
we're
okay.
still on the non-answer.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Okay.
The reason that this is where my head went. But then when I go back to again, well, what do you want in a weekend car around here? I mean, first and foremost, you want it to start every weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure Aston's your best bet if you want to do that. If it goes wrong, you want to be able to get it fixed. Where we live, that means a truck and a trailer to Toronto.
I hear X-Plan coming up again.
Yeah, no. I'm going predictable here, but I think that for sub 150, the car you actually want to own is a 981 Boxster Spider.
Hello.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And if you,
You
don't
are
like a
speaking my
convertible,
language.
you're more than welcome to buy a GT4.
Tell us the spec.
Oh, it's going to be GT Silver.
Of course it is.
It's going to go
Sorry
ahead.
though. When you say GT4, like what is that?
So that'd be a
You can-
2016
Yeah,
car.
I was gonna say,
2016.
you're gonna
yeah.
get 2016.
Yeah, so 981.
Right. So remember
Yeah.
that the GT4 of that era was actually a little bit more hardcore than the Spider. It had
Yes.
the GT3 front end. It was very harsh.
Definitely
the Spider
different.
was,
The Spider's a regular
Road
Boxster
car.
underneath.
Yeah.
But they changed the front bumper and the body work.
and it's best sounding. It's held its value unbelievably well.
Sure.
It's going to start on the button. You can get it serviced anywhere.
yeah.
It's got silver wheels, obviously, and I think it's going to have the Heritage Classic Spider interior. So yours was Bordeaux on black, or what's it was a different shade of red. It's quite
It's
bright.
Bordeaux. Mine was Bordeaux
Yeah.
with GT Silver. That was kind of the standard spec for a lot of
the
those.
launch spec on.
Yeah.
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 So that's my choice.
nice.
That's a good choice.
Somewhat
That's a good
predictable
choice.
on
That would
this
be around the
podcast, perhaps?
$120,000 to $130,000 mark.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yep.
and that gives you a nice budget to be like, look, I want to bet better tires on it. I want to keep it clean. I want to change the exhaust, or I want to pay that ridiculous oil change every year.
Yeah.
You know?
And you know what? There's actually right now, there's none on Auto Trader.
Okay.
There's a bunch floating around the US on Porsche Finder. And to your point, I think you're bang on 120, 130.
That's good.
130 is probably the best example or one of the better ones.
I wanted one of those before I bought my, this would be 2015. I looked
Yeah.
at them closely, and they had after that first year, they had almost fallen in value. They were down to like the 110 mark.
Yes.
And they were almost in reach. Like I was like, I'm going to stretch for it, but it just felt like a little too much all the time. It was 15 grand more than I wanted to spend.
Yep.
That's a great car.
I distinctly remember right before COVID, there was a Guards Red one in Montreal with satin platinum wheels, and it was 105. And I was like, that's a great value.
Yeah.
Couldn't afford it at the time, and
Yeah,
now
yeah.
we are. But anyway, Dylan.
All right. So I did my best to not go a Porsche.
Okay.
So I did.
You did.
I did not.
You did not. Okay.
Because
Okay.
it's so hard. You can find so many
Oh,
good
you can find
examples
all kinds.
Okay.
to, you can put yourself in whatever Porsche, and it'll be a good choice.
Sure.
Right.
I didn't go that far off though, but I kind of did. I'm going R8.
I knew it.
V10 manual coupe.
The hardest ones to find.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great
Yeah.
choice.
I originally, our initial conversation about McLaren had me looking.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
It was just like, I think 160, 165
Yeah,
was the
you're on
520s.
the cusp. Yep.
But yeah, I went back down. I'm like, all right, V8 manual.
Convertible.
Or sorry,
coupe?
V10.
Did you say
All right.
coupe? Convertible?
Oh, coupe.
Coupe. Sorry.
Yeah,
Maybe I
I'm
missed
not.
that.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
not a convertible man.
Yeah. Got it. Okay.
Color. Preferred color.
I don't really care. I do like those cars in black.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they look good. I
do
think the
look good.
silver's a little too dull on them.
Spec dependent, I think.
They
Yeah.
are. They,
Yeah.
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 And
Yeah.
the way that the blade plays against the color
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's the
matters.
trade-off.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I that's my pick.
That's a great choice.
Very
I
good
could
choice.
almost read it on you. Like I was like, he's gonna pick an R8 because honestly, that's a good choice.
Yeah.
That's a great
It just
car. What are they
sounds so
worth?
good.
Like, what do you buy that for today? Or do you,
Honestly, it was really hard to find them,
Okay,
but you're in the 130s.
Yep.
But you
Okay.
could also spend 180, 200.
Right.
Like 210 is a brand new one, I think, right?
less. I think
Yeah,
less
they
now.
had 189 one in
Yeah.
the dealership here.
to be fair, they don't make them anymore. But
Yeah.
With a manual, like 120 is going to be a leggy one on a V10, but yeah, I think you could be in for under 150.
Yeah.
I think you're in budget.
That's what it seemed that way. There wasn't a lot of examples, but
Yep.
it seemed like you can get it done.
I'll be honest, I fully support that decision. If you one day don't have a 996 and you have an R8 V10, we're cool.
We have given so far excellent consumer advice. Bring us home here, Ryan.
I don't have a ton of thought into this, but I can tell you immediately there was a specific car, a specific exact unit, which sprung to mind for me. About 100,000 Canadian, roughly. A 997 C2S in dark olive metallic over a kind of caramel colored beige
Natural
interior,
leather,
natural
yeah.
whatever interior. It was for sale at Grand Prix Motors, I think,
I
in
remember this
Portland.
car.
That car. I recognize it's well below the budget, and I wanted to at least circle around on
Oh,
Porsche.
no, that's fine.
I love that car. I really did consider. At that moment when that car was shared to me, I really did think. I kind of did the math. I'm like, all right, if I dump the GT4 and drive that, I would be very. That's a beautiful car. I don't know the miles. I don't even care. It's just a special car. That being said, I'm actually okay with any C2S.
Yep.
Yep.
Whether year almost irrelevant. I mean, whatever could afford it. If it goes up to a 2015, or I don't even know how far you'd make it. Maybe 2018. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Under 150,000.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, I think you're. Yeah.
What matters to me more is that it's a special color, and I love that. Like, it's not my favorite color, but that combination of that metallic bass boat green with
Yep.
that interior was like spectacular.
Good description of that color. It's
Yeah.
definitely bass boatish.
Yeah, but it's one of those colors that the second you're looking in non-sunlight, you don't notice anything. It's just
black.
Just
It's an
black.
abyss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. And I don't really have any other. I mean, that's the car. Like, that's the one in my head.
That's
I'm
great.
like, that's the one. To be honest, part of me always thinks that owning a non-GT car would actually be very satisfying because it's a lot less to think about.
Yep.
The car's not 3 inches off the ground. The brakes aren't a crazy if you get a rock stuck in the middle. Like, you just have more normal stuff, and part of that attracts me in principle. And I
Yeah.
end up with a $50,000 leftover budget that it can buy me another ND2 Miata.
Well,
You know what I mean?
I hate to
So,
burst your bubble, but
yeah.
I remember sending that car to a friend of mine because he's shopping.
Yeah.
And
It's
it
gone.
was $84,000 US.
US. Okay, sorry.
you
So it's
don't-
125-ish?
more.
Is it? Okay, but
Well,
still.
by the time you bring it in,
Yeah,
still,
yeah.
yeah.
right?
But-
so, okay, so
but-
maybe it's 100. I still think it's a great car.
It was a gorgeous car.
Yeah, and anyway, as a Porsche nerd, it was one of those moments I was like, man, who spec'd this? Like, I want to meet this guy.
Yeah.
Like, I love this. You know, who would have ordered that? Honestly. Anyway, not to loop around on Porsche, but we are.
yeah.
And,
I think we did a
I
pretty good
figured
job on
we'd
those.
sprinkle a couple in there, but we didn't go so predictable and go all Porsche.
no,
So-
and your Aston story, I mean, let's be honest. I'm going to spend some time on the Trader. I mean, that's like, I can't believe that.
Yeah.
That Vanquish looks like new.
I was
Like,
shocked.
Honestly, because it pretty much is.
Yeah. It is a 10-year-old car, to be fair, but
Yeah. Well, it's just so elegant, right?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
V12 Bond car. Like, I mean, come on.
The
I can see you
noise.
driving around in a tux in that. Yeah.
I was gonna. I figured he was gonna be wearing exactly what he's wearing now,
That's
which is
probably
you know,
more accurate because I
Yeah.
don't own a Tex, and But
Yeah.
if I have any money left over in the budget, I'll buy one.
you
Pretty
can
much.
rent one. You don't even need to buy it.
Rent
Just
one for
rent
the
it.
weekend.
Rent it and drive up down the main street in front of all the bars. Anyway, that was an interesting.
Yeah, that was good.
Wow, I didn't expect a bunch of those answers. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Little did we know the Corvette has had an impact on two
Yeah.
of our
I thought Dylan wanted
esteemed
Mustang
colleagues.
all the way.
I kind of thought that too, actually.
just wasn't enough there for me.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're worth, but I do. You've reminded me of something. I do want to insert. The one thought I had at 150,000 was a Shelby GT350R.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
I don't know what they're worth.
Less than that.
Yeah,
Way
I
less.
think
than
so.
that. And they're bringing it back.
Oh, I don't want the new one.
No,
I
no.
want the one with the flat plane
couldn't-
crank.
I don't
V8,
think
like the
you
one-
could buy
Oh,
it
I have no
for
idea.
150,
Okay,
the new
fair
one.
enough. Yeah.
Oh, not the new one,
No.
but the 2016-ish, whatever
Those
it was.
cars,
You could buy that.
The noise.
Yeah.
I'm not a Mustang guy. I mean, my dad had one when I was a kid. It's a beautiful car. I get
And the
it.
interiors were great on them. They were really
So
nice.
nice, and they don't have that weird glass dash thing. We're not into that generation
No.
yet, which
Yeah.
I really like.
Good car.
But
Yeah.
I thought they'd be too expensive. My immediate reaction was they'll be more than 150.
No.
No, I think
That's
you'd
really
be okay.
interesting. I got to look at those. Interesting.
Don't use Auto Trader. Use some other app. It's shit.
Yeah.
What's the one that all the YouTubers promote all the time?
Auto Tempest? Is that right?
that
Or
it?
Auto...
Auto Tempest sounds familiar.
That works here?
I don't know.
It does, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can pick the country, and it's supposedly...
Does
sort of
Ford have
scrapes.
like a Porsche thing, like where it's like a finder? Do they have?
Yeah.
They
yeah,
do?
but
Okay.
not used cars, though.
No, not you. Well, at the dealer though,
Yeah.
because you're going to
Oh,
mostly
just each
get them
dealer,
at.
okay.
What are they called? What are those dealers called? Like the special ones, the SVT dealers.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah,
see, I
true,
wouldn't know that.
true.
Okay.
Yeah. So
okay,
like
okay.
Oak Ridge Ford.
Yeah, they won't be sitting
Oh,
at
really? Interesting.
Dixon Motors in Thamesville, probably.
No, probably not.
I've never heard of that.
That's because it's very small.
You drive by
okay.
it all the time.
What's the
I
other?
do.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. What's the other Ford dealer up there that plays around with all the vehicles?
Probably Tilbury, isn't it?
Oh, I don't know. I'm sorry. Now I do know the tiny
Yes,
Ford
you do.
dealer. Does it have one car in the showroom?
Two or three,
Oh,
probably.
come
Yeah.
on. That's ambitious. I think there might be one. I've seen the place. I know exactly what you're talking about now.
That's funny.
Anyway, let's wrap it there. That was a good chat, fellas.
Yeah.
We ran over the hour mark there. Sorry for the listeners, but
Yeah.
we really appreciate you hanging out and listening. Anyway, we'll catch up with you guys next week. Anything you want to throw in?
Just going to say, always appreciate your DMs and comments and future topics.
Yes, keep those coming.
Yeah, the future topics really help. We're not that
Yeah.
smart.
We'll put another poll up or another question
Yeah,
at some point,
absolutely.
and that's always been a good inspiration of
Ooh,
conversation.
maybe we could do like whose 150 was the best.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Ooh,
Oh, I like that.
deep thoughts.
But you
think
can't
I
play your Astons here because those
No,
might win.
those are going on the poll. They were non-answers.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Fair enough.
Anyway, all right, we'll catch you next week. Take care.
Cheers.
Bye.